Hello and welcome back. In this video we are going to be working on PHP loops. Now the loops allow us to repeat codes until certain conditions are met. Now we're going to work on while loop. So we have different kind of loops, but in the course of this session we're working on while loop. So basically the while loop allows us to repeat codes until certain conditions are met. So if the condition is true, it repeats the codes. If the condition is false, it doesn't repeat any code. It doesn't do anything. Okay, so the while loop is very easy. It's just the condition has to be true for the code to be executed. Now it moves, the loop will go round and round, executing the code in the curly brace until certain conditions are met. So that's what really happens when using the while loop. Alright, now let's move on to our code. Okay, so we're going to open a new file for this. So we have while.php, enter. Okay, so I'm just going to be increasing this. Alright, now let's move on. Let's put down our PHP, our HTML doc syntax, and right there we're going to create a PHP syntax there. Alright, now this while loop is kind of similar to the if statement. Okay, something like this. So we have if, then we put a curly brace, and we have this. So we put a parenthesis, then we have a curly brace. Alright, so it's kind of similar to this, just the difference here is that we remove this and then we put a while. Okay, so that's what really happens here. Now what really happens here is that the condition, what we have inside the parenthesis, will stand as the condition. Now if this condition is true, then it goes down to the block and executes the program we have right inside the block. Okay, execute a statement or whatever it is that you want there, it's executed right inside the block. Now for example, we have for less than 10. Alright, then we just come down here and we have echo hello student. Let's put a parenthesis there. Alright, hello student. Now let's move on to our browser. Let's go down to our browser, just the way we've been doing it in the course of this lecture. So we're going to have localhost/php class. Okay, then right here we have the while.php. So let's click on that. Alright, so you see what's going on here. So this is an infinite loop. And why is this so? I'm going to be telling you why this is appearing this way. Now let's remove this. Let's cut it off. Now why is this appearing this way? Is because 4 is always going to be less than 10. Okay, now truly 4 is less than 10. Okay, but what really happens here is that the program keeps going and going, it never stops. Okay, so this condition won't be met. Alright, so it just keeps on going and going and going. Okay, and it never stops because the condition will not be met. All right, because this is how it works. The program starts from here. It said while, so we have 4 is less than 10, which is the condition, which is true. Then it comes down here and execute this. Then it goes again to this place, to the while, and do the same process. It goes execute this. You see, there is nothing stopping it. Okay, so it's never going to stop. Okay, because 4 is always going to be less than 10, so this program is never going to stop. That's why we have what we have there, which was an infinite loop. Okay, so until 4 is bigger than 10, that's when it's going to stop. Okay, so until the loop, that's 4 is bigger than 10, that's when the loop is going to stop. But in this case, 4 cannot be bigger than 10, so definitely the loop will not stop. So how do we achieve this? How do we achieve the right way of creating loop? So we're going to have here initialize value. So we start with an initialize value. All right, so we're going to have there, we just put there counter, we assign 0 to that. Okay, oh, sorry about that. We assign 0 to that. Then we have here counter is less than 10. All right, now after doing this, now this counter here is right here, we have it here. So the condition here says y counter less than 10. Obviously counter is less than 10, so what remains here is that we are going to add we're going to add 1. We're going to always add 1 the moment the loop goes in. The moment the loop moves in the first time, the moment the loop moves, we add 1. So we have here counter equals to counter plus 1. Put a semicolon, sorry. All right, so this is what happens here. Okay, so I'm just going to have here comment on this condition. Okay, so this is the condition here. So the moment the condition is true, it goes there and executes what we have in the block. Now when this statement is being executed in the block, for it not to go just continue repeating and repeating just the way we have it the first time we created that loop, for it not to do that, we always have to add 1 to the counter. So we have counter equals to counter plus 1. Now let's move on and check our browser. So we still go to the same process, localhost /php, then we'll go to while. So you see what we have here. We have it hello student, hello student, hello student. Now it's no more giving us an infinite loop the way we have it in last time. Why is that so? Because what we have here is while, then we have counter less than 10, which is true. The condition here is true, so he executes the first one and it comes down here. Then that is counter is 0, so 0 plus 1, definitely it's 1. Then it goes again and do the same process, which is while counter is still less than 10. Yes, it's still less than 10. You execute this. Now you know the former one was 1, so we add counter now is now 1, so 1 comes here, then plus 1, that makes it 2. Then it goes again and do the same process, and while counter plus less than 10, then it's still true. Then you execute the third one. Then previously the counter is 2, so 2 plus 1 is 3. Then it goes and goes and goes on and goes on until this is false. Okay, now let's do something. Let me show you something. Instead of executing this, let's take that off and let me put in the counter so we can see what is really happening here. So we have counter, then let's go back. All right, so you see that we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You see, there's not 10. Why? Because its counter is less than 10. So obviously 10 will not be included. The only way 10 is going to be included is when you have an equal to there. So the moment you have an equals to, now this 10 will be included. So let's go there and reload again. All right, so we see the 10 right there. Now that's just the way we have this is just the way that the while loop is the while loop works. That's how the while loop works. So basically we use the while loop in a lot of stuffs in PHP. We use while loop to do things multiple times. Okay, so you have maybe you have an image. You want to repeat that image on your, you want to repeat it, and that's multiple times. You want to have it more than one time in your browser, that's in your project or something. So we use the while loop to achieve that. Okay, just loop and loop and loop the specific number of time that you actually want that. So that's all about the while loop, and I believe you have a good understanding on that, and it's very easy to understand. Okay, so right here we can actually, before we go, we can actually change this and let this, we have removed this and use plus plus. Okay, so we call this increment. Okay, we call this increment. All right, it's still the same with what we did previously, but trying to reduce the way we have it there. So what we just have is counter plus plus, and with this you are good to go creating and creating your while loop. All right, thank you for your time, and bye for now.